So this is what the GitHub desktop looks like, the desktop client. And it has a really nice option to show you how to walk through everything. So I'm going to take you through that. It's basically their tutorial, and it's an offline tutorial, which is really helpful as well. So if you're not online, you can still take a look and see how it works. You'll just need to go to help and then tutorial, and it will walk you through it. It even includes really helpful notes along here too. So they're going to talk about, let's make a new branch, let's make a change, and then we're going to open a pull request. Now this isn't real. It's just dummy data and dummy stuff that they're doing to teach you how to use it. But I think it's really handy to kind of walk through something the full way. So first we're going to start with making a new branch. And this is going to give us our own kind of space to work in. And it's going to separate it from what other people are working on too, because we don't want to be stepping on other people's toes. So up here is your branch button. Remember, we had talked in a previous video about recognizing the different icons that you would use. Now, of course, you've got your tooltip helps here, but this is your branch icon. So we're going to click on it, and we're going to give it a name. Let's call it just my test branch, and it's going to come from the master file, and we're going to create this branch. Now up here, this is where we're talking about branching off. So you've got kind of your main project here, and now you can see, boop, we've branched off. And the graphs, now right now there's not much going on because we haven't done anything yet, but this is going to show us the different commits that we're going to do and where we're going to get from the branch here. Yeah, here it even says, oh, it's kind of boring, let's make some more stuff. So go. Let's keep going here. So there's now changes to the branch. There's a README, and it says this is my tutorial repository. So once you've done that, you're going to create a summary of what you've done, and we'll talk a little bit more about creating good commit messages. But for now, I'm going to make a junky one. Forgive me. Okay, so once we've created our summary and then our commit message, we're going to do commit to my test branch, which is what I just created. Now up here you'll see that it's changed, so you can see where the branch, and then you have your different changes going on there. So it's showing now that we're one commit ahead of the master. So now we want to merge back into that the main project, so we're going to create a pull request. And you can do that up here where you've got your little, here's your little crazy icon about basically sharing the code. So we're going to do a pull request. And for there, we're going to have a commit, a summary message. I'm sorry, a summary. Yes, your title and then your information about it, and then we're going to submit the pull request. Now this is what people are going to be using to evaluate what you've done, so you want to make it very clear. This is a really junky, and like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about better commit messages in the next video, but it's important and it really matters. It's easy to think the most important thing here is just your code changes, and it is, but taking the time to write good pull request and good commit messages is going to make a difference in the long run, especially as time goes on and you're looking back at things later. It kind of reminds me of if you're a designer and you've ever worked in Photoshop and you start getting layer after layer after layer, you know, the people who take the extra time to really name their layers appropriately, when they go back in, 2 months later, they're really happy they did that. And it's the same thing here. It can get really ugly quick if you don't take the time to write something really consistent and good. So we're going to send that pull request, and it's basically saying that is the essential workflow of GitHub. Now you'll see here it says like pull request created, kind of. That's because it's not really doing it. We're just kind of doing a test here. And now you can go through and play around with it if you'd like. Here's my example repo that I was doing. You can see the differences here, things that have changed, things that are uncommitted. I've got an uncommitted change here. We can look at my history. So I'm just using this to demonstrate it. I can choose to sync it when I'm ready. You just kind of go in here. There's not a whole lot to see, which is great. That's kind of the point. They kept it really simple, and I really like that. And I like having that visual representation of things for myself. It just works for me. In our next video, we're going to talk about commit messages, and we'll take a look at what the GitHub repository looks like.